Hello, YouTube. This is Jenn Herman with Jenn's Trends, and tonight we are doing Ask Me Anything, which means anything's on the table. I will be simulcasting over here on Instagram, so I'm going to get that launched up here in just a second. If you're catching this on the replay, you will probably want to jump ahead a minute or two into this video while I get everything set up, say some hellos, do all those sorts of things. But who knows what can happen in those couple minutes? So you may just want to watch and hang out because sometimes some fun things happen in that time frame. But there is no script tonight. There is no set agenda. It is an Ask Me Anything. So people are coming to me with their questions and I'm going to answer them. So if you are watching here on YouTube, you can drop those questions over here in the chat and I will keep an eye on those as well. And most of the questions are going to come from Instagram, which is where we're going to be hanging out for this. So bear with me while I get everything running. Here we go. It's always nice when technology actually wants to play along with you. And we are right on time. Evie is here. Hello, Instagram. Jenn Herman with Jenn's Trends. We are live tonight for an Ask Me Anything. That is the topic of the day. I have no set schedule, no specific topics. It is in your hands. So for those of you who want to watch and participate live, hello to SF Hilltop Stay. Hello to Ron. We've got Pigpen Woodworks. Sherry is here as well. Evie is hanging out in both places. I love you, girl. So show the shoes. That's the first question. All right, I'll go ahead and show the shoes. I'm just going to drop up here that we are doing an Ask Me Anything as the topic. Go ahead and get that pinned. There we go. All right, so as we go through tonight, there is the questions button down there at the bottom of the screen. I want you guys to put your questions in there. That way I can keep them organized and I can like put them up on the screen and answer them one at a time and better manage all the questions because there'll be comments and things and everything coming in. So for those of you here on Instagram, use that questions button down there at the bottom of the screen, the little question mark, type in your question. It'll alert me that you have a question and I will go ahead and answer them as they come in. So the question was, what shoes am I wearing? I'm not going to show them on my feet because then it gets really uncomfortable in here. And I technically already took them off. So in full disclosure of an Ask Me Anything, the shoes already came off. But they were these ones. So they perfectly matched the shirt. See? So I had the black pants. I had the blue shoes looking fabulous. They are Juicy Couture if anybody cares. Some of my more casual shoes. But yes, they matched perfectly. And no, I don't always buy my outfits or clothes to perfectly match outfits. Sometimes they just, kind of come together that way. So it works out. Hello to our ball diva. Ken is in the house. Elliot Gonzalez has joined us as well. For those of you tuning in, it is an Ask Me Anything. So the floor is open. The floor is yours. We are simulcasting over on YouTube. So keep an eye over there if anybody tunes in with questions over there. But I know all the conversation is really going to happen here. There is a questions button down there at the bottom of the screen. Tap on that button and type in your question. I can see that 2 of them have already popped in. That's how I will sort through the questions to answer because there's going to be all the conversation and dialogue and all the things happening in the chat, which will make it hard to manage, and I don't want to miss any of the questions. So any of the questions you have for me, drop them down there. We've got 3 questions popping in now. Again, open floor. You can ask me about Instagram. You can ask me about Facebook. You can ask me about strategy. You can ask me about hashtags. You can ask me about my business. We already asked about the shoes. You can ask me about whatever you want. It's open floor. I'm here to help you exclusively tonight. So whatever you want to know, ask. Drop those in the question box. So, Evie, you're horrible. All right, I'm going to throw this one up. So Evie said, who's your favorite? And I'm not answering that. Because that's not fair. So yes, I do have my tribe. I have favorite people. I have wonderful people in this world who contribute to all of my entertainment, all of my support, all the amazing things that go on in my life. So I have so many people that fall into the category of favorite for lots of different reasons. So I could not possibly pick one favorite person, but I love all of you, especially you, Evie, for all of your amazing reasons. I love you all. Okay, so more questions have popped in. So Evie had also asked, can't keep up with everything. What's next? What's happening in the second half of 2019? So that's a great question. What will be happening in the second half of 2019? So there has been a lot in, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I haven't even talked it all today. There's been a lot this year with privacy concerns. I think this is going to be a major issue for the rest of the year. Canva just had a breach. Facebook has had breaches. Instagram has had breaches. Everybody has had breaches. And this is a big issue. It's got normal layman people worried about it. It's got them freaking out about their information and how they can protect it and all the different things that are going on. So they're worried, they're concerned. And if they're concerned, we as marketers should be concerned as well. They may be less willing to participate or to, join a contest or post to something, especially publicly. They may turn around and be like, I'm not going to go on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, not realizing sometimes that they are literally the same company. So you're not really avoiding one by going to the other. But things like that, they may not want to hang out in the same places where you normally do interact with them. So maybe you need to look at other platforms. So that overarching privacy concern is going to be a major impact for brands and businesses for the rest of 2019 and into 2020. Talking about things like potential legislation here in the US, legislation in European countries, all of these things are going to be very significant. We're also along those lines, and because of the dialogue that came out of F8, we are seeing this push towards the more private conversations. And you guys know I've been preaching this for well over a year, but getting things out of the public forum and into the private forum. So things like direct messages, even, when you reply to a story on Instagram now, it goes to a direct message. It's not a public facing comment. People are reaching out much more for help and customer service via DMs, less likely to post it publicly on a page. This is hard for brands to A, manage, and B, measure. So if you have outsourced your social media to another company, to an agency, to a VA, and if they're not able to manage those for you, they may get lost in the shuffle. If you're not looking for them, if they're not looking for them, if they don't have access to them, then you may lose that opportunity to connect and build those relationships with your audience. So you really have to look into being able to manage that aspect of your social media. But it's also pretty much impossible to measure. There's no metric that says, oh, here's a DM that led to a conversion, or here's how many clicks you've got, or how many DMs you got. That's not measurable. And for a lot of brands, that's a real struggle. They want to be able to measure what's working. And sure, they could go through and do a count and be like, okay, we got 38 DMs this week versus last week we had 42. Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? What are your DMs? Are they customer service complaints, so less is better? Are they inquiries and potential sales, which means less is worse? What does that mean? There's no real way at this point to measure what DMs actually have an impact on. So these are things that are going to evolve going into 2020, and we're really going to have to look at these things as brands, how we use them effectively. So those would be probably what I would say are the two kind of biggest overarching things. Of course, we're going to see all the things Twitter's looking at, they're testing a bunch of new things. Instagram will release a whole bunch more stickers for stories because they always do. Facebook is pushing stories like nobody's business. So we're going to see more functionality in stories over on Facebook. All of those things, all the little gizmos and gadgets and tweaks and all that sort of stuff, we're just going to keep seeing a lot more of that. And I wish I had some secret, magic 8-ball to tell me what those things were, but we don't know. We are at the liberty of everybody else. So I hope that answered that question. For everybody who has tuned in a little bit later, today is Ask Me Anything. So there is a questions tab, little icon down there at the bottom of the screen. Tap on that, type in your question, and I will answer questions as we go through. I will pull them up on the screen so you can see what questions we are answering. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. There's no set schedule. I am here at your disposal. You can ask me anything about social media, about strategy, about Instagram, about Facebook, about my shoes, about my business. I'm here. I'm here for you guys. So go ahead and drop those questions in if you have those questions. So SF Hilltop Stay said, I'm looking for a job that is entry level. What job titles should I focus on that are social media related? That is a really good question. So here's the thing. Avoid all of the fancy foo-foo gimmicky words. So we're not gurus or, any of those like rock stars, none of that shit. Like, we don't need that, okay? Things like social media strategist, a content marketer, those sorts of things. Anything that talks to specifically what it is that you do. So of course, social media is a very broad topic. And if you just say, I'm a social media expert, you're lying, because nobody's a social media expert. Like, it's too big of a topic for someone to be a legit expert in the entire topic. So that is misleading. Instead, dial into what it is that you do. Do you focus on organic strategies? Do you focus on paid strategies? Are you like an agency type where, you are, a multi-channel manager? Are you, like I said, doing strategy? So you don't necessarily do as much of the execution, but you're doing the strategy side of it. Are you a content developer? Are you a video marketer? Are you a blogger and a written content creator? So figure out what those kind of key points are that can kind of really structure what you do. Because if you were to say I'm a content marketer, then that tells me you create content. That means something to me as a hiring manager, that I know you're the person who creates the content. If you say you're a strategist, then I'm going to go, okay, you're going to be the one to help us figure out the overarching content of, what needs to go out and why it needs to go, but you may not be the actual content creator. And you may be a content creator, but strategy is more your forte. So figure out those keywords, put those in there, and that is a great way to define what you do in a realistic way without calling yourself, a guru or an expert or a rock star or all these weird things that everybody else does. Okay, so for those of you, again, just a quick reminder, there is a questions tab down there at the bottom. You can tap on that and type in a question, and I am answering your questions. It is an Ask Me Anything, people. Bring it on. Blogging Brute, Mr. Mike Alton is in the house, and Mike is way more amazing than I am. Mike is like my speed dial king. Like, seriously, I needed help in my Facebook group today. It's like, Mike, can you answer this? And he comes back with like a full page answer of like amazingness, answered her question and more, super helpful. And so if you guys are not following Mr. Mike Alton at The Blogging Brute here on Instagram, you need to be following him because he's legit amazing. And in addition to that, if you go to bloggingbrute.com, Mike, if you want to drop the link, I'm totally giving you a pitch here. If you want to drop the link, bloggingbrute.com, he has a new course out. It's currently on sale, and it is like, I can't remember the exact title, but it's like the 3 pillars of content and then blowing them up. And he is legit the content king. If you struggle with content, and even if you're really good at content, like, I mean, I can bring out a 2,000 word blog post in like a couple hours, like no big deal. But I live and die by what Mike says. If Mike does something, it tells me to do something, that's what you do. That is how the world works, because he's a genius and he has this course on sale. It's super reasonable, you guys, and it's going to give you everything you need to create content and then blow it up in a good way, not a bad way. Blow it up in a good way so that it's out there way more amazing, so you can get a ton more value out of the pieces of content that you do create. So he said go to bloggingbrute.com/shop. So go check that out, you guys. Seriously, that was not any sort of paid endorsement. I did not get compensated for that. I just love Mike, and he's a freaking genius. So you just need to go check it all out. So we had a whole bunch of people pop in. So good to see you. George is here as well. Chrissy is here. Reconcile your wallet. Oh, I love that username. SF Hilltop says, thank you for answering the question. Blogging Brute said, yeah, I make up my titles. Some people make them up. But it's like, so the question was, he's looking for a job and wants to know what titles. And so that's why we don't make up titles when we're looking for a job. When you have the job and you want to call yourself anything you want, go for it, because you already got the job. Agree. George said Mike is amazeballs. Ask Evie said hashtag Genderage is like nearly fully present. I know, everyone's showing up tonight. I love it. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Having problems scrolling. Brad Friedman is here as well. Faith Beyond Mountains is here. Evie said, haha, Mike, see, everyone knows you're the content king. Little Coffee Food Garden is here. Jacqueline Coach is here. Oh my goodness, seriously, stop. I'm like seriously having problems scrolling on this thing. Mike is a freaking genius. He totally is. And we've got the digital gal, my girl, Amanda Robinson is in the house as well. So a couple questions popped up over here on YouTube. For those of you who are tuning in, I am simulcasting over on YouTube. We're doing Ask Me Anything today. So down there is the questions tab. Go ahead and pop on that questions button, type in your question. I'm going to come back and answer all of the questions that I can in the hour that we have. I'm here at your full disposal. So Emily is over here on YouTube, and she said she needs advice. Okay, that's a broad request. And then she said, do you have kids? Yes, I do. So for those people on YouTube, you can see my daughter's desk back there. For those of you on Instagram, there is her desk. So when she is with me, she can come in here and work at her desk while I am at my desk. I am a mom to a wonderful, amazing 3.5-year-old, almost 4-year-old little girl. She is my serious mini-me. It's kind of ridiculous. And I was a good kid, so it's totally okay, right? But honestly, she really is. She is adorable. She's amazing, and I'm so blessed. But I will admit, I do enjoy the fact that I don't have her full time. It is nice that I have days off from having her here, that I can do these sorts of things, that I can work on my client projects, that I can do live shows, that I can schedule client calls and do the things I need to do without having to worry about that childcare or worrying about her walking over here in the middle of a show and going, Mama, I got to go poo-poo, because that's actually happened. Like legit real story, interrupted a podcast because she was here and told me she had to go poo-poo. So that was fun. Those are always the good moments in life that we have to laugh about, because welcome to the world. All right, so Emily, if you have any other questions over here on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and drop those in there. We got Silk McDowell is here. I Heart Dates is here. Ask Evie said she's totally a mini-me. She really is. It's pretty adorable. Marge Fontana is here. Evie said hashtag mom life, and George is laughing. Hey, these things happen, you know? You got to roll with the punches sometimes. All right, so we got more questions that have popped in. The digital gal. Oh my God. You weren't here for the beginning. Okay, but this one at least is a little more specific. So I think I can give you this one. So Evie had asked at the top of the show, for those of you who are tuning in late, it is an Ask Me Anything. Go ahead and tap on that questions tab and you can put in the questions. I will go ahead and answer any of your questions. When we started the show, Evie had asked, who is your favorite person? And I was like, I'm not answering that. I have too many favorites for lots of different reasons. The digital gal, who is my best friend, who is one of the most amazing people on the planet, and is Canadian, is asking who my favorite Canadian is. So don't tell my parents, but I'll give it to you, Amanda. I love you, girl. Okay, more questions. So Shopkins asked, is organic losing value or still a strong complement to paid, especially for Twitter? Great question. Silk McDowell, is it Silky or Silk? I'm horrible with names and usernames, you guys. I literally am like the worst person on the planet. But she said she's been there too, in reference to the, hashtag mom life. These things happen. So Shopkins has a great question about, is organic losing value or still a strong complement to paid? I believe organic is the foundation. I think paid augments organic. And people who are out there saying it's pay to play and the only way to succeed is to pay are lying to you, because they just want to promote that value and they just want you to spend a bunch of money. So to be completely honest, okay, so Silky, I'm assuming Silky. Okay, perfect. But here's organic is your foundation. Organic is your baseline. Organic is how you actually build relationships with your audience. If all you do is push out paid content 24/7, that's not relationship building. I mean, yes, you can boost posts that were meant for audience engagement and relationship building, but it still was the foundational content that you then boosted to get it to more people. And here's the thing with paid content. If it sucks as organic, putting money behind it doesn't make it any better. So when all you do is just put out paid content over and over again, you don't know if that's good or bad content, because you never got left it a chance to perform organically to see if it was good. If it's performing well organically and you put money behind it, it's going to skyrocket. If you have a poor performing post, but you're like, but this is what my audience needs to see, let me throw money behind it, it's still crap. It's still going to get crap reach. It's still going to get crap conversions because it was crap to start with. Money doesn't change that. So I think organic is the foundation. You need to be putting the focus on the organic, building those pieces of content that you can augment with a paid strategy. And this goes across the board. This is for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. I don't care what. It's organic as a baseline. Build the relationships, build the quality engaged content where people are liking, commenting, leaving questions, sharing it, all the types of things, and then go, okay, this is what my audience wants. This is what's working. This is what's driving conversions, and realize that what works high on engagement may not work high on conversion. So for example, on Instagram, for me, a certain type of content, certain type of visuals rocket high for engagement. Not big on conversion. Some they can, but when I really want to drive link traffic, I use a different type of content with a different call to action, because I know of all the times I've done this, a call to action is formatted a certain way is going to drive more conversions. And if I just want engagement, if I'm not looking for conversions, I create my engagement style content. But you need to know that from an organic level, and then you can augment that with paid. So I don't think it's losing value at all. I think, if anything, it's more important, and I think you have a chance to excel, because if you're doing organic well and everybody else is not, you have a chance to shine over and above what all of your competition is doing, because you can do the organic, and be successful at it. So when you do run the ads, your ads will be exponentially better and more rewarding for you, more, ROI value off of them, lower rates, all that sort of stuff. So I realize that was a really long-winded answer, but I hope that answered that question for you. We've got Agent Kelly has joined us. We have Social Mint content here as well. I've got the crew, Evie and George and Chris and everybody saying hi to everybody. Silky said, I use CTA, but it's so hard to engage. And it is. But again, the call to action no matter what it is, has to be simple. You guys, call to action, like one thing. Click on the link. Go to this. Watch this. Call us. Do this. If you do not want these things to, be complicated. If your call to action is a paragraph, no one's going to follow through on that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So call to action has to be really simple, really specific, and high value call to action. What's in it for me as the viewer? If I'm reading your post, why would I follow that action? What's in it for me? Is it by clicking on that link going to save me money? Is clicking on that link going to make me smarter? Is clicking on that link going to offer a solution to me? Is it going to answer a question I have? What's in it for me? If that call to action does not serve me, F you, I don't care. And when you position your call to action based on your business and what's in for your business, then your audience will never click through. It doesn't matter to them. So you need to position those for the value of the audience and make them super simple so that they will actually follow through on those. My girl, CEO P3, good to see you, sweetie. And I know you love my energy. I love your energy. That girl, she's got energy. I'm not even joking. Agent Kelly asked a question about feeling about geotags and hashtags. Go ahead and drop that in the questions, you guys. Today isn't Ask Me Anything. And so there's a questions tab down there. Tap on that and type in your questions. I'm going through those questions and I'm answering them off in there because I don't want to lose them here in the chat. So go ahead and drop that question in there and I will get to it over there. Okay, so where are we at? Oh my God. You guys are asking the worst questions. I'm not answering any more questions about favorites. I'm deleting all of those questions. I'm ignoring them. All right, George asked a random question. Beach house or lake house? So as long as it's warm, I don't really care. I would say beach house is my first response because lakes are usually a lot colder and mama don't do cold. So I would say beach and someplace very tropical where it is constantly warm and I never have to worry about being freezing cold. That's my answer. Again, you guys, it's an Ask Me Anything. It doesn't just have to be social media. You can ask me literally anything you want. What about you in the second half of 2019? Feels like you'll be everywhere. Where do we grab wine? Okay. So yes, where will I be for the second half of 2019? Great question. And on that note, Silky asked, when are you coming to Philadelphia? I don't currently have plans for Philadelphia, actually. Let's figure out a reason to get me there. Like, I'm down. Get me to Philly. I have no reason. I don't know of any conferences or anything, but let's make that happen. So for right now, heads up for everybody, if you want to take notes on this. In 3 weeks, I'm heading to Australia for State of Social in Perth, Australia. It is a big social media conference. I am super excited. I'm going to be keynoting it with Chris Messina and Matt Navarra, who I am totally going to fangirl over because Matt Navarra is like the guy who knows everything and gets like access to everything. And like I always say, I'm like, George Clooney could like literally walk in and sit down next to me in a restaurant and I'd be like, cool, whatever, like whatevs. But Matt Navarra, like, oh my God, I'm going to fangirl. Like I'm trying so hard not to. And I'm trying to be like a respectful, like, you know, balanced colleague where I'm like, cool, hey, we're at the same conference as keynote speakers. But really, I'm a fangirl the shit out of Matt Navarra. Like when she told me he was also gonna be there, I was like, I'm signed up. I mean, it was Australia, it was good enough. But Matt Navarra, sign me up. I will be there. So that's where I am. I will be there in 3 weeks, so the end of June. Then I come back. I will be in Dallas, in the Dallas area for the Senegence conference, which is a women's beauty product line. So I will be in Dallas on the Friday. I think it's like the 12th or 13th of July. And I literally fly from Dallas to Toronto the next day. So whether that's the 13th or the 14th, I should just pull up my calendar. That would make my life a whole lot easier, huh? I could actually tell you real dates. So the 13th, the 12th, I will be in Dallas. The 13th of July, I will be in Toronto. So if you're in Toronto, let me know. And then I will be back to San Diego for 2 days to turn around and get on another plane. I'm heading to Nashville for the 17th or the 19th. I will be at the NAMM show in Nashville. So if you guys are in the Nashville area, hook it up. Like, let's do something. After that, I'm actually going to Halifax. So if anybody's in Halifax, let me know. I will be in Halifax in August. That's a personal trip. I'm going to go see my brother and my mom and taking my daughter, and all the girls are going to meet, my 2 nieces and my daughter and all that. So it's going to be an amazing, fun trip, but I might be able to squeeze in a visit if anybody's in Halifax. I will be in Maine, in Portland, Maine in September. I will be there for the 18th to the 20th for the Agents of Change conference. So if you're not coming to the Agents of Change conference, and you're anywhere in that area of Maine, you totally want to come because it's legit one of the best conferences. Amazing speakers, totally reasonable price point. You seriously want to come join me there. And then I have a Conscious Coach, which is specifically for coaches. That's here in San Diego on September 29th. That's actually a Sunday, but that's a 3-day conference here in San Diego. So I will be there for that. And that's pretty much it for right now. I still got a lot of things lining up, but I'm excited about it. So we had a couple questions pop in related to that. Evie was saying you've got room in the suitcase, right? Cred Biz Coach said, girl, he knows everything. Super Simple Official, Cornelius is here as well. We got Angela here. I will not be coming to New York, but I legit need to come to New York. Like New York is like one of my bucket lists. Like I haven't been there since I was like a teenager. So we got to hook that up. Like I want to go for a personal trip, but I would love to have a conference pay for me and then make my life a whole lot easier because I don't have to buy tickets and all that fun stuff. But I totally want to go to New York. I still want to do New York for Christmas. That's one of my big goals. I want to be there for Christmas, actually. I don't have any San Francisco trips planned right now either. I was up in Sacramento a couple months ago. But, you know, at least that's easy. So you never know. That could be a spontaneous trip and I'll just show up there. And then, yes, CEOP3, I will see you there. Yes, at the Conscious Coach. I'm so excited to see you. Like finally in San Diego, we'll get to hang out again. Yay. The Digital Gal said that I'm busier than her. I am. I'm literally like every month it seems like I've got something else going on. Jamie is here. Ask Evie to let's do the tourist thing in New York. I totally want to do it. George Demanis said, SMD NYC. I'm still waiting for you to put that shit together so I can be there next year. I'm just saying. I don't know how to pronounce this. Go Ayubi, I think it is. How you travel so much with your munchkin. Wow. I'm very lucky that her dad takes care of her when I travel. So I leave her with him. He watches her the extra days. He is great in that way. He is a great, reliable source of childcare so that when I travel, He watches her that extra time, and I know that she's with, a good environment, and she's with her dad, and they get to have fun and do, he's the fun dad. I always joke I'm the no fun mom. No, we do tons of fun stuff, but I'm totally the no fun mom. I'm like this one. I'm like, clean it up, put it away, keep it clean. And she gets to have fun with her dad when I go on vacation or on trip. So it's like she's on vacation too. And yes, I know, George, I know you're in New York. And then I've got Brooke is in Jersey. So it's like I have all the reasons in the world to go. I just need to like fit it into my schedule with all my other travel. Jamie said go to NYC. It's amazing. I know, like for Christmas, like legit, like it's my bucket list to go to New York City during the holidays. Like I seriously just like, I'm obsessed with Christmas. And so I just legit want to go. I can't wait. Okay. More questions. So let me go back over here to YouTube because I had to get off that. Erica is over on YouTube as well. Hey girl. Hey. Okay, questions. Oh my goodness, I want to make sure I get to the ones that were put in. Okay, so SF Hilltop State said, when you use a hashtag on Instagram stories, I go to the hashtag, but I don't see my post there. Why can't I see it? So stories are not a guarantee to show up on Instagram hashtag searches. Even regular feed content is not a guarantee to show up in the regular searches. That's algorithmically sorted. But the feed content, the regular posts on a hashtag search are more likely to show up. That is formatted and designed for that kind of flow. But the hashtags for stories, so when you're scrolling through and looking at content for the feed post, you could scroll through and see hundreds of posts in a very short time. Stories, which are watched and consumed differently, they don't want to flood that hashtag gallery with 100 stories, 1,000 stories. It would be impossible for people to navigate through it. So even on smaller hashtags where there may only be a couple pieces of content, they will not put everything up there. They keep it very selective. There's a whole complicated algorithm that I do not understand. Like that's one of like the lockdown ones that I have not been able to get even like really good insight into as to why they choose what they choose. But you can show up in those hashtags, but there is no way to guarantee it. And if you go and look, there's a very good chance that you won't see your content there. Usually what will happen is you can go and look at your analytics from that post. And when you do that, it will actually show you which hashtags, like it'll show you your story showed up in certain hashtags. So you'll know that it was in those hashtags. But again, you don't know how many people so because it's all algorithmically sorted based on preferred content. So if I like dogs and someone posts a story with a dog in it, I'm more likely to see that story than somebody who never engages with dog content on Instagram. So again, not everyone's going to see the same thing. So just because I see it doesn't mean anyone else sees it. Not everyone sees the same thing in those results. They are highly customized to the person looking at those story results. And then it's also algorithmically sorted to determine how much content is going to go in there. So you can look at your analytics for your story and it will show you what hashtag searches you showed up in and how many views you got. But that's really the best you can do in terms of trying to figure that information out. You are not guaranteed to see your content in that way. All-Purpose Mom is here. Rosemary O'Neill is here. Carrie Buckingham is here. So for all of those of you who have tuned in late today, it isn't Ask Me Anything. So there is a questions button down there at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and tap on the questions button, type in your question, and I'm answering all of your questions live. I have no structure to this except to answer your questions. So they're random. They're all over the board. We're talking all the different things, but they are here for you. Okay, so the Digital Gal asked, what is your biggest pet peeve misconception about Instagram? Ooh, good one. I have like lots of them. Like, I don't think I could give you just one. So my biggest pet peeve misconception about Instagram. So one of the things that actually fueled my whole like series of presentations for 2019 was somebody, it was like last year, said you can't use Instagram for lead generation, and I was like, challenge accepted, because I knew you could, but nobody had ever talked about using Instagram for lead generation. So that became my topic du jour for 2019, and I've done that presentation, a variation of that same presentation, at multiple events and webinars and podcasts and that sort of thing, and talking about the fact that you can actually use Instagram for lead generation. So there are videos up on my YouTube channel, and I think I have a blog post on it. There is one on Social Media Examiner for sure, but I don't know if I've ever put it up on my own blog. But socialmediaexaminer.com, and just search for Instagram lead generation, and you'll find that blog post with all my tips and tactics on that. So that was one of my big kind of pet peeves. The other one that I get is people say their audience isn't on Instagram, and that's the biggest lie imaginable. So the thing with Instagram is it's over 1 billion monthly active users. So even 90-year-olds are on Instagram. Like, there's not maybe a lot of them, but they're there. And there are, in the demographic over the age of 35, there are more people over the age of 35 using Instagram than there are using Twitter. So if you tell me your audience is on Twitter, I can pretty much validate the fact that they're over there on Instagram as well. Now, is Instagram the right choice for you? Not necessarily. But one of the biggest misconceptions that it's only for the, quote, kids. And again, I like to dispel the myth, you guys. I am 38 years old. I'll be 39. I'm a fucking millennial, okay? I'm pushing 40. Millennials are not 12, okay? They are people who are buying houses, buying cars. They have kids. They are the largest financially responsible demographic right now for marketers, is millennials. They are a large demographic, and they are the largest group that are spending money. So when you turn around and say, oh, it's for the kids, and you say that for millennials, bitch, please, I'm a millennial, and I'm like buying all day. Like I get fed the best ads on Instagram, and yes, I buy all that stuff. Not all of it, but a lot of it. It's kind of getting out of hand, actually. We may need an intervention. But it's true. Like, this is the group that is making those buying decisions, and they're buying big ticket items. They're spending lots of money, and they're on Instagram. So if your audience is remotely in an evaluation of, you know, the budget people, the people that make the household decisions, the people that choose how to spend money, the people in their businesses that are deciding how to spend money, and the budget managers, if they're in any way involved in making decision making when it comes to money, chances are they're hanging out on Instagram. So I always hate when they say it's for the kids, because that's probably the furthest thing from the truth. So we've got Mr. Insta Guy is here. Kevin Dene is here. Ask Evie said, pink chairs thanks to Instagram. Not lying. That pink chair, totally an Instagram app. That happened. So thanks for reminding me of that story, Evie. So I had been looking for a new office chair. And I was looking for a new white one. I had a white one, and the arm was like, had chipped, like some of the leather had gotten scuffed and moving. And it was, I don't even know, like 5 years old or whatever. So it was time for a new chair. So I had gone on and looked for some office chairs. And of course, I got targeted with a bunch of ads literally the next day because I didn't buy one. But the ad I got served was for a fuchsia pink chair. You don't think I bought that shit that day? I was like, buy, take my money. And it's actually really comfortable. It's actually a really good chair, which worked out really well because I didn't even like question it. I was like, it's pink, I'm buying it. So legit, I mean, this happens. Like, we spend the money, these things all go down. So yes, your audience is here, and yes, they're absolutely spending the money. We got Cooking with Kids New York is here. Hello, sweetie, good to see you. Mary Jennings Art is here as well. Bridget Cooper is here. Sammy Elizabeth is here. And so Boca has tuned in too. Hello. So you guys, we are doing an AMA. Ask me anything. There is a questions tab down there. Go ahead and tap that questions tab. Type in your question. Tap and type. Too many of the same sounding words. Tap the button. Type in your question. I'm answering the questions live here on Instagram. We're simulcasting over here on YouTube as well. All right. So here is Agent Kelly said, location and hashtags, thoughts, do they work? They work. Are you asking about stories, or are you asking about regular feed? Because they're different and they have slightly different strategies. So drop that here in the comments for me, whether you want to clarify both, or if you're talking specifically for stories or specifically for regular feed posts. But yes, absolutely, both location tags and hashtags work. So in general, hashtags, I have my super secret recipe that I tell everybody. So It's really, that's what I tell everybody. It's literally the super secret recipe that I tell everybody. And I do have a video up on my YouTube channel that actually does tell you the strategy I recommend for using hashtags. So you can always head over to YouTube to watch that video as well. But you want to combine popular, moderately popular, and niche specific hashtags. You want a combination of them because the niche specific ones, or sorry, let's do the popular ones get an initial burst of activity, but they die off quickly. The moderately popular keep you active for hours into days because they're smaller hubs. So you're more likely to be found for longer periods of time because there's less competition. And the niche specific are where people actually find you in a very targeted way. And what happens is when you have your audience engaging with your content, then you have non-followers because of the hashtags. What ends up happening is Instagram says, oh, look at you, you're super smart. You're doing all this great content, getting all this great engagement. So in the niche specific, you rank as a top post. And when you go to an Instagram search right now, you see top and recent. So top are filtered based on top performing content relevant to the person looking at that content. If your content is a top performing post, it's the first thing they see, which means they click on it, they go to your profile, you get conversions. And that's like a really short, condensed, like 1 minute version of like what I take like 10 to 12 minutes to normally explain. But that is why you definitely want to use a good hashtag strategy because they do drive those results for you. Now, additionally, I always give people the example of car insurance. So nobody's going to Instagram to buy car insurance. Nope, that's what Google's for. If I'm looking for car insurance, I go to Google, car insurance, San Diego. I'm not going to Instagram to look for car insurance. So if you're a car insurance company, should you be on Instagram? Absolutely, you can. I'm not saying you should be or shouldn't be. You can, but you wouldn't use things like hashtag car insurance because the only thing that's going to attract is your competitors. It's not going to do anything for your customers because no customers on there looking for car insurance. But what they are looking for is dream car, first car, favorite car, types of cars. They're looking at Mustangs, they're looking at Hondas, they're looking at Mercedes, whatever it is they're looking at cars. And you know what people with cars need? Their car insurance. So you go where your audience is. If they're hanging out under hashtag dream car, you go create content and put hashtag dream car on it, and you have the chance. Now, granted, that's a popular hashtag, so it's not guaranteed to work, but those are the types of things you want to be looking for in terms of a content strategy for your hashtags that allows you to show up in the searches where they're actually hanging out and you have content that's relevant to them. In terms of location tags, yes, they absolutely work, but they're more valuable in stories. So location tags allow you to show up in those location searches, meaning if you tag yourself at a restaurant, you could show up in that search result. If you own a business that has a physical location, you want to be tagging all of your content because then when someone goes onto that location tag, they will see your content in that hub. So yes, you absolutely want to be using that location tag. But it's not as commonly used as much in regular feed content, although you should be using it. In stories, location tags are like a secret gold mine that nobody thinks about. So the more you can tag a location in your stories, the more chance you have for exposure in that story hub because more people for some reason are more likely to look at stories and locations. I don't know why, but it happens. So the thing with this is you want to get as narrow as possible with your location. So you don't want to tag, especially for stories, you don't want to tag San Diego as the location. It's way too broad. Instead, I always say I would literally tag like the table I'm sitting at if I could. You want to get down to the narrowest possible aspect. So the name of that business, that physical location on a physical address, on a physical street, at a physical intersection, in a physical neighborhood, in a physical city, in a physical county, in a physical state, in a physical country, because that's how the mapping system works. If I tag myself at ABC Clothing Store, well, the map knows ABC Clothing Store is on this street, which is in this neighborhood, which is in this city. If I had just tagged San Diego, it's not going to know to filter me down to the fact that I'm down on, Ash, downtown San Diego. But if I tag a location that's on Ash Street, they're going to know that it's, they could know that it's East Village, San Diego. They could know that it's San Diego. They could know that it's, related to other things in that area. So, for example, I had once tagged one for National University, which is across the street from Torrey Pines Golf Course. So I showed up in the Torrey Pines Golf Course location tag results. I didn't tag Torrey Pines because it's right across the street. I showed up in that search result because I got really narrow. So with your location tags, get as narrow as possible, and you have chance for exposure in broader location tags. So yes, they work. You want to be very creative with how you use them. A Conscious Coach has joined us as well. Hello, Daily Dose of Styles. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. We are doing an Ask Me Anything, so go ahead and drop your questions. There's a question tab down there. Go ahead and tap on that. Type in your question, and I'm answering them as we go. And we've got only like 15 minutes left. We've been breezing through these. Okay, let me see what we have for questions. Oh my God, you guys have so many good questions in here. Okay. So Focus said, horizontal video question mark. I say yes. A recent study, if you want to go check out my Facebook group, go to Jenn's Trends in Social Media. Just search that on Facebook. You'll find the Facebook group if you're not already in my Facebook group. Somebody just posted a study that they did in that group. They posted it in my group today. And they found that on all platforms, horizontal or vertical video, sorry, I read that wrong. Vertical video. Vertical video gets more engagement and longer watch times. Why? Because it's easier for us to watch it in that natural way that we're holding our phone rather than turning it sideways to watch a horizontal video. Vertical was outperforming consistently in the studies that they did in this recent study, which that study is posted in my Facebook group. So you can go check that out there. So horizontal video, absolutely. That's how people want to film, right? They get the landscape, they've got the, the DSLR set up, they have their webcam set up, everything set up for a 16:9. Everyone, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it's great. But the problem is people don't always want to turn their phones. And a lot of people film automatically because their phone's held up in the vertical mode. That's just how they're naturally filming. So IGTV just moved from vertical to allow the rotation to go to horizontal, all that sort of stuff. So they're moving away from the forced vertical, but we will continue to see more vertical video and less horizontal video over time. Okay, more questions. Mr. Instaguy said, have you seen a drop in overall engagement lately on Instagram? Yes and no. So here's the thing. A lot of people are saying they're seeing a drop in engagement. These things, they kind of ebb and flow. I haven't seen anything drastic on mine in terms of that. I've definitely seen a pretty much normal engagement rates for me. I haven't seen anything drastic one way or the other. Again, algorithms are always shifting. It's always getting more saturated. It's always getting more complicated. There's always lots of things happening in the background. There's API connection issues, which for some people can, contribute to that. So there's a lot of things that are always going on. But in general, no, I haven't seen anything significant as an overall drop in engagement on Instagram. Now, that being said, again, a lot of people are noticing certain drops. Things come in, things happen, things glitch up. Facebook and Instagram have both been doing a lot of stuff lately with running updates. And whenever they run an update, the whole platform just glitches out, and it makes it really complicated for us to track anything, because you're like, well, there goes 6 hours of potential engagement. So those things don't always make it easy on us. But in general, no, I have not seen anything to substantiate a statement that overall engagement is down. So I did see a few questions pop in. If you guys want to ask the questions, go ahead and tap that questions button down there and type in your question there. I'm answering them from there because I don't want to lose any of the questions that are popping in. And for everybody that did pop in late, we got Alicia in the house. Britt, hello, gorgeous. A bunch of people have popped in. We're doing an Ask Me Anything tonight. So I am scrolling through all of the questions that you guys are asking me. So Brad Friedman had asked, in a perfect world, how many times a week should a local business owner post on Instagram feed versus stories? In a perfect world, there would be a perfect answer. It's honestly not, it's so hard to answer that question. So for example, a news outlet or a major sports team could post 10 times a day and be successful because they have endless amounts of content. But an average business could get away with doing it once a week and be incredibly successful. The biggest thing is to be consistent with quality content. The way the algorithm works, if I see your content and I don't interact with it in any way, meaning I don't click ... more, I don't stop and watch it, I don't like it, I don't leave a comment, I don't bookmark it, I don't share it, if I don't do anything with your content, the more often I ignore your content, the lower and lower you fall in my feed. So if your content is not capturing my attention to make me stop and look at it, if your content is not capturing my attention to get me to read the caption, click the ... more, read it, and take some sort of action, or to double tap to like, or do anything. If your content is not appealing to me, you rank lower and lower in my feed. It's not a popularity contest. It's an individual interaction with each single person that follows you. But if I'm not interacting with it, and if the 100 other people that see it aren't interacting with it, then you start to rank lower and lower. And the more that your content ranks lower and lower, your content keeps going down. It's a never-ending circle, right? But if your content is performing well, and every time I see it and I engage with it in some way, even just to stop and look at it, the algorithm knows that. You don't know that from your insights, but the algorithm knows that, and it will continue to show people your content. But if your content sucks or it's mediocre content, then people are going to ignore it. And the more you try to push out content to get in their feed, the more you're rushing the content, the less quality it is, the more you hurt yourself in the long run. So you can post as often as you want. You can post once a day for all I care, as long as it's super high quality content. Like, it has to be like amazing content, like the highest level content, amazingly beautiful, well edited, well written captions, really value add. If you're giving all of that, you can do that once a day, do it once a day. If you can only do that once a week, then only post once a week. Less is more in this environment. You don't want to flood their feeds. You don't want to oversaturate their content. If it's high quality content and you can give them more, give them more. Be consistent with how often you post. And if you can only do that once a week, only do it once a week. I live on Instagram. I teach Instagram. And I'll go 2 or 3 weeks between posts because I don't have anything of value to share with my audience. So I just don't post. I would rather put out nothing and have no negative impact than to put out something crappy or mediocre and have it have a negative impact on my brand. All right, let's see if we can get through a few more questions because we have like 10 more minutes. Let me just see if anybody else popped in a little while ago. George said, if you could eat pizza with any New Yorker, who would that be? George, my darling, it would be you. Yes, I would eat pizza. And for the record, Mama lives on pizza. I'm a raging carboholic. Pizza is my go-to. Like, legit, it is like the one food I could probably live on for the rest of my life. So, George, I would 100% want to eat pizza with you. Okay, so CDO Gabby said, sometimes when we have a boost of followers, we suddenly lose 3 to 7 people. Also, when we reach 1K, why does this happen? So, followers are going to do the ups and the downs, okay? Stop caring. That's like the worst answer ever, but stop fucking caring. It doesn't matter. People play the follow unfollow game, meaning they're going to follow you if you don't follow them back, or even if you do follow them back, they're going to unfollow you 24 to 48, maybe 72 hours later. They're just trying to boost their followers. So they genuinely only care about, I'm just going to hide that. You're being annoying. So when you get those follow for follows, you're going to get the ups, you're going to get the downs. People are going to follow you and decide they don't like your content, and they're just going to unfollow you. This is a totally normal, unrealistic practice that a lot of people use. It's bullshit. You should see my analytics. I go up 20, I drop 10. I go up 30, I drop 40. I go up 5, I gain 20 the next day, and I lose 10 more the next day. Like, it's so much fluctuation, you guys. It doesn't matter. And yes, it does. You always seem to notice it around the thresholds, like at 500, at 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Like, you always seem to notice it more there, and you can't like ever get over the threshold. Don't worry about it. I promise you, they will continue to grow. It is okay. It will get there. I promise. But don't worry about the follow unfollow game. It's not worth your time and stress. Decatur said they joined late. How do you define great content? Honestly, it depends on your audience what's great content. As long as it captures your audience's attention and gets them to do something with it, whether it's to like it, to share it, to comment, whatever it is, that's great content. What's great content for me is not great content for you. It's entirely dependent on that audience. James said, what scoop can you give us as in what's coming that's a big secret? I don't have any big secrets. I wish I did, you guys. I'm not that special. I really am not. Nobody tells me anything. I'm always like the last one to know. I'm like the last one to get half of all all the like updates, like stories features rolled out, and I don't get them, and I'm like, really, Instagram? Like you couldn't like just shoot this over? Like, come on. So Go Ayubi said, sweet tea or unsweet garbage. I don't drink either, to be completely honest. And if I had to, it would definitely be sweet because nobody wants the unsweetness. Ugh, that's just disgusting. But I do not drink iced tea. I will drink real tea, hot tea, and I drink it European style. None of this American style with honey and lemon and weirdness. No, people. Sugar and milk like normal people. Okay, let's just put that out there right now. George needs to run. Yes, get Chris off to bed. So good to see you. Jamie's crying. I don't have any secrets. I wish I had big secrets. Usually around like marketing world, I get like fed like a couple little secrets because I talk like all the people who are in town and who like know a couple things, but I legit know nothing. Kristen said, is this Q&A feature during live videos new? This has been out for a few months now. So there is that questions button down there at the bottom. And when you tap on that, you can type in your question and then I can see it and I can pop it up on the screen, which is what I've been doing. And this has been going on now for a little while. So Boca said her too on the T. Jamie asked what shoes are next, what new shoes. You know, I don't know. I bought a lot, like bad, a lot of Sam Edelman's lately. I'm obsessed with Sam Edelman shoes. They're my favorite go-to everyday shoe. They're comfortable, they're wearable, they're fashionable, they're gorgeous, they're comfortable. Did I mention they were comfortable? And I like literally bought a lot lately. It again, intervention, probably needed. It's so bad. Okay, here we go. So daily dose. Oh, there we go. Daily dose of style said it's preferable to put your hashtags in the caption versus putting it in your comments down below. So honestly, it doesn't matter. It's totally preference. It's your preference and what you want to do. It makes no difference where you put them. It does not impact the algorithm. It does not impact your audience. They probably don't care. People expect to see hashtags. They are supposed to be there and they work for you. So use them. Put them in there. I'm lazy, so I put everything in the caption because I don't want to go back and put it in a comment. The only caveat to that is if you're using popular hashtags, really popular ones, which I do not recommend you do. Anything over 1 million, I don't recommend you use. But if you are using popular ones, you do want to put those in the caption because you don't want to lose any valuable time. Even if it takes you 10 to 30 seconds to go and drop it in a comment, that's valuable time in a popular hub. So popular ones should stay in the caption. Other than that, it honestly doesn't matter. I say put them in the caption because whatever happens, at least that way you know they're there and they're going to get recognized and everything else, but it doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you. And we're going to get kicked off in like 3 minutes. So CEOP3, when are you coming to DC? Girl, I want to be there like right now. Like I want to come see you. I got to find a reason to get to DC too. Kristen K. Matt said, very interesting. Would love to hear your thoughts on using this versus the comment bubble I originally posted. So in terms of the questions, I love this because this way I can sort through the questions and I can see them all in one place. And I'm not trying to go back and find them within the comments. It makes it easier to manage. And then everyone can see what the question is. So as they come in, as I'm talking about it, they can actually see the question that I'm responding to, and it shows that it's a Q&A. So it's actually more beneficial, I think, to the audience. And when you're doing these types of shows, it's a really good thing to be using. James is here from Singapore. Hello. And we've got, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but from Brazil. Hello from Brazil. Okay, literally like 2 more minutes. Let's scroll down here to see the last couple things that have come in. Do you have a preferred app for figuring out which hashtags work best? You can use Tagboard, Hashtagify are probably the 2 best, Tagboard and Hashtagify, hashtag IFY. I'm old school. If there's an old school when it comes to Instagram, I just go on Instagram and I literally just search, like just start typing in something in the search and it will show you all of the relevant ones that pop up to that. It will give you ones that are related to that. It'll show you how many posts are associated with them. So it's the best way, and you're already in Instagram. You can see what people are doing on Instagram, and it's the best way to just kind of get that content directly from the source itself. Mr. Instaguy said, how did you start becoming an Instagram coach? It was a total accident. I had no plan on doing this with my life. None. I started blogging about Instagram over 5 years ago, over 6, 6 years now. I started blogging about Instagram because I fell in love with the platform and I wanted to see how it could be used, and no one else was blogging about it. And so I did this all like the hard way. I just tried and trial and error, and things that worked, I would blog about it. If they didn't work, I'd blog about it. I've written hundreds of blog posts now just dedicated to Instagram specifically. I have now, like, I speak, obviously, I do all these things, and I do consulting, and I'm at the point now where I am immersed in it on a regular basis. But I know people around the world who work with me and help me. If they get beta features, they share information with me. I've had friends give me access to their accounts when they have a beta feature, so I can jump in there and grab all the screenshots I need so I can write a blog post about it. And that sort of stuff. So I'm lucky to have a really good network that helps me do what I do, but I genuinely fell into this by accident, to be completely honest. So that is it, you guys. I'm going to get kicked off here. The button's going to pop up here in a matter of seconds, I'm sure, and tell me that the show is over because we only get our 1 hour. This was really fun. I loved all the questions. Thank you so much for showing up and having such great questions. I hope you guys got the answers that you wanted. As I mentioned, go ahead and check me out in my Facebook group. Go to Facebook and search for Jenn's Trends in Social Media, and all of the things, breaking news related to Instagram specifically, but if there's any big news about any social media, we drop that first and foremost in the Facebook group, so you can get all the things that you need to know and stay on top of everything there in the Facebook group. I will be back in 2 weeks, right before I go to Australia. I'll be back for another show, so stay tuned for that. And as always, come hang out with me, say hi, whatever you gotta do. I gotta go. I'm gonna get on time. Bye. All right, YouTube, thank you so much. Oh, we had Blake Thompson showed up late and said, what's your most embarrassing moment? Ooh, bonus points for the YouTubers, because this isn't going to show up over on Instagram. What was my most embarrassing moment? Oh, God, I've had a few. I had a really embarrassing one in grade 7. Like, really, it was so embarrassing. This is like back before I was like center of the universe. Like now I'm like on stage, whatever, like it's fine. I was incredibly shy as a child, and we were getting awards for like reading or something like that, and my teacher's name, his last name was very similar to my maiden last name. And so when the principal called out and the teacher's name saying Mr. Robbins' class, I thought he said my name. I was not paying attention. I was talking to my friend, and we were totally not paying attention in the assembly in front of the entire school. And he said, Mr. Robbins' class. And I stood up and walked to the front, like so proud of myself, like I was all that in a bag of chips, to accept my award. And my last name started with an R, and they went alphabetically. So I was standing up there by myself thinking I was hot shit for a very long time until they got to the R's and got me my certificate, which I then was not in line because everyone came up alphabetically and I was like the first one. So yeah, I had a really hard time with that one. I was embarrassed. I didn't even like want to go to school the next day. Like it sounds so minimal now, like as an adult, but as a child, it was actually like pretty traumatizing. As an adult, I've had some embarrassing moments. I've fallen while walking, like just like legit fell down. Did that in front of a whole bunch of firefighters once. That was really fun. Was just standing there and I just like literally, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I lost feeling in my leg was asleep. I don't know, but I literally like dropped to the floor in a room full of firefighters. There was like 50 people or something in the room, and I just, yeah, so that was fun. Those were some embarrassing moments. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around for the bonus feature at the end. I kind of like that. And this will be available as the replay. So if you caught this late, you can come back and watch the whole video. And as I was saying to the people over on Instagram, make sure you head over to Facebook and go to Jenn's Trends in Social Media to join the Facebook group for all things breaking news, social media related. And of course, feel free to subscribe to this this channel, because I do the live show every 2 weeks. I share updates when there's new features and things like that. If I go live at events, I go ahead and upload the videos here to YouTube that you can watch and learn from as well, even if you aren't at those live events. So lots of reasons to subscribe to the channel. Please do so. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave them on this video and I will answer them afterwards. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in.